Gordonwood Stadium in Brownwood, the Brownwood Lions for 2013 are back on the air. Hi again, everybody. Dallas Huston back with you.
Turning a negative into a positive is what Chevy hometown heroes do, and it's what longtime Brownwood radio broadcaster Dallas Huston has done. Beginning a broadcasting career in a small market is normal. For Dallas, it was his hometown of Brownwood at the local AM radio station, which later became KOXE. But a car accident in 1961 almost derailed his plans.
In a rain, I hit a car from behind that didn't have any tail lights, and it threw my head up, into and through the windshield. As it did, it took my voice box, Adam's apple, whatever you want to call it, and I took out the steering wheel with it. I mean, I literally could not talk. 9:45 to play in the third, 27-14, Brownwood on top. It's not the voice that I went into the accident with. I thought it was worse than the one before, but I was stuck with it, and the people liked it better, I guess. Let's look at Brownwood defensively.
Not many broadcasters can say they have spent their entire career with one team, but since Huston moved to Brownwood with his family when he was just 2 years old from Corpus Christi, he grew up in the small West Texas town just south of Abilene and remembers when legendary Brownwood head football coach Gordon Wood came over from Stamford, where he had won a pair of state titles with the Bulldogs.
We had a very experienced ball club with a tremendous amount of talent in 1959. We finished 8-2, but we lost to Breckenridge, so we didn't go anywhere. And in came this man named Gordon Wood. We won the state championship, and all of a sudden, whatever it is that Brownwood has was ignited that night.
Legendary Brownwood announcer Dallas Huston began his career announcing for the Lions in 1963. You see the Dallas Huston Walk of Champions. The Lions come through this tunnel right here and onto the field here at Gordonwood Stadium.
And as far as scrimmages go, you'll never see one more up-tempo than this. The old days of huddling up and taking 30 or 40 seconds are over. This thing has been fast-paced tonight.
Dallas is not his original name. No, it was given to him by legendary morning radio disc jockey Jim Pruitt of the Stevens and Pruitt Show, who would later become famous in both Dallas and Houston, ironically enough. Since nobody uses their real names in radio, it kind of stuck. Dallas Huston was born, and he watched as the Lions won state titles in 1965, 67, 69, and 70. A dynasty was formed, and Huston would take over the play-by-play duties in the mid-70s. Radio has remained constant. You have to paint the picture so the fans can visualize what they are hearing.
Basically the same thing it is now. You're trying to describe a ball game to people who are listening on the radio. But back then you were dealing with people in cars, or you were dealing with people at home, and basically that was it. They'd just come up with portable radios.
The accolades continued to roll in for Dallas Huston. He was named Best High School Sportscaster in the Lone Star State in 1999 by Texas Monthly Magazine. Huston was inducted into the Big Country Hall of Fame and is also a member of the Howard Payne Sports Hall of Fame, where he broadcast college athletics and has been named Sportscaster of the Year 4 times by the Lone Star Conference. But it's the athletes where he seems to get the most enjoyment from.
When you get to hear Dallas Huston, who's been here forever, say your name, it's like an honor for him to say something about you.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. He too, like Coach Howard, he knows all our names. I mean, he gets the roster every year. He'll come up and shake your hand.
Dallas is he's Brownwood football. He's representative for years. His voice, it's distinct, it's different.
Side of the 15, the 10, the 5, and West Dickner's in for a Brownwood touchdown.
The way he calls a game, you're transformed from your living room right to the game, whatever stadium it may be across the state of Texas, because of his voice and the way he describes it. The memories that a lot of us old Lions have is, Dallas calling a game, touchdown Lions, with the Dallas Huston voice, and everybody thinks they have a Dallas Huston impression.
Well, the station has been doing Brownwood Lions football here that we're in for 72 years. Dallas Huston, think about this, has been part of that for 51 years. People with younger kids in grade school, middle school, TYFL, they say, I cannot wait for my kids to grow up and have Dallas call his name on the radio.
He's the calming, he's the soothing in this town. He can tell you the history of this program. He helps us not forget our past. He helps us work towards continuing excellence in the future. I owe a lot of things to Dallas.
From the 4-yard line, Pounds, and he hands to Isom again, and Isom runs hard to the 3, the 2, the 1, he's in! Touchdown Brownwood on a great...
To have guys 65 years old come up and hug you and say hi, Dallas, and have guys from last year's team come up and do the same thing. It's those relationships, it's those kids that you never forget, and it's nice to know that they don't ever forget you either.
Despite his namesake, Dallas Houston has never had the desire to work in any of the larger markets. But the Texas OU Red River rivalry might be fun to broadcast, he says.
Every once in a while, if I'm heading to Alpine to do a Howard Payne-Sul Ross game and I'm listening to Texas and Oklahoma, I just kind of close my eyes. To be able to do that one time, that ought to be really something special. I'd like to have had that opportunity.
In big cities, sports writers think their job is to tear the team down. In a small town, his job was to build the team up. Never a bad word from Dallas Houston.
Dallas Houston says health will go a long way in determining how much longer he will continue to broadcast Brownwood High School football. But one thing's for sure, he's truly a Chevy hometown hero. In Brownwood, I'm Jeff Power.